The thing is, man, sisters, if you want to be real constructive about what's going on with relationships and why you're not getting married, the thing is, man, a lot of you sisters, a lot of black women, you have a lot of hatred for your fathers that you project on the men that you date. If we're going to have real talk, let's have some real talk. A lot of you women grew up with no fathers and you have a lot of hatred that your mother helped instill in you, and you project that onto the men you date. That's one problem. That's why you have a lot of women out here, no matter if they have money or not, they still have a disrespectful disposition to the men they date, the black men. Y'all know not to act fucked up with white dudes. Y'all get a white dude and y'all act like perfect angels, but with brothers, y'all do slick, disrespectful bullshit. Like, for example, like Mary J. Blige. I just heard a story about her. She's at a club punching her husband in the face. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, black men, y'all, it's enough of that. Just because you got money, if you're a hood rat, you're just a hood rat with a couple of dollars. Just like with Chris Brown and Rihanna. Chris Brown, young dude, Rihanna was egging him on. What happened in that car? Rihanna was fucking with that boy until he snapped. It's not about blaming the victim or whatever, but Rihanna, I've heard interviews she's done, and basically from what I've gotten from the interviews, they were arguing. She wouldn't let it go. She said she would not let it go. Chris Brown kept trying to change the subject and let it go. She wouldn't let it go. She kept pushing the guy's buttons and the guy snapped on her, and she's the victim, and they threw Chris Brown under the bus because she knew, and a lot of black women knew that, they know that it's easy for a black man to get thrown under the bus, and you use that to your advantage. Because a white dude does the same thing and they just brush it off. Like Charlie Sheen, I think he just pulled a knife on some female not too long ago, a few days ago, and you barely hear about it. So black women are fully aware of this, and the reason why a lot of brothers are not taking you seriously is because we don't want to get thrown under the bus. Brothers are tired of getting thrown under the bus. And another thing, sisters, the reason why a lot of women who have decent jobs, I won't use the term successful because that's a relative term. And again, a lot of these women are not really that successful. They just have good jobs with benefits. But when you do meet a successful man, the reason why a lot of men who are very successful don't really deal with black females is because a lot of men who have something going on, and this is human nature, people will generally not be disrespected by those who have less than them. Let me repeat that again so you guys can feel where I'm coming from. People in general will not be disrespected by those who have less than them. So in a lot of cases, a lot of black women, they got good jobs and they think they're Oprah. Then they meet a brother who's really balling on some real tight paper, who has some real money, and you can't talk to that brother like you would talk to a brother who works at Church's Chicken somewhere, because he's simply not going to take you seriously. A successful brother is not going to take that kind of disrespect that black women are used to giving black men. They're not going to take that. If you got real money and you got the option to tell her to get the fuck out your face, you're going to be like, get the fuck out my face. And that's another thing. A lot of sisters don't know how to respect a man in a relationship. And a man who has it going on is not going to tolerate that. That's a harsh reality, sisters. Now, in closing, man, the thing is, and I've said this before, a lot of sisters, man, we're going to have to put some of these sisters on timeout until around 2014, when the next generation comes in, because the next generation is going to be the opposite of this generation. So I think the next generation of sisters are going to have their minds right. But in this day and age, it's 2010. So brothers, y'all got to step up to the plate with your dating selections and start calling these sisters out for their bullshit and just avoiding the nonsense. If you're going to have a functional relationship, there's only really 3 types of black women that you can get with if you want to have a functional relationship right now in this day and age. Only 3 types. And I'm not talking about the women you meet at the club and you just want to have a one-night stand with, or women you just want to have a couple of booty calls with, or women you just want to have as your jump off. There's really no criteria for that. But fellas, black men, if you really want to have a functional relationship with a black female, there's only 3 types that you're going to have to fuck with right now. Get your pens and paper because y'all need to write this down. And I've touched on this a little bit before. All right, number 1. First type of female, the black woman that you have to get with if you're going to have somewhat of a functioning relationship, because it still might not be functional, but the odds are better with these 3 females. The first type, number 1, is a black female who grew up with a father. Getting a black female who grew up with a father is like night and day from dating a woman who did not grow up with a father. I've talked about this on several shows. And that's very rare to find a black woman in this day and age who grew up with a father, but they are there. They are out there. That's 1. Number 2, a black female who grew up and was raised by a non-black mother. The thing is, a lot of black females, man, they get a lot of bullshit put in their brains by their black female mothers who didn't have a man around. So they put all that hatred for men in their daughters. A lot of non-black women don't do that. Like a lot of females who had a black father, even if the father isn't around, if the mother is white, Latina, Asian, or anything else, they don't put that hatred in their daughters' minds. There's still a level of respect. They don't pass the hatred down. From what I've seen, now there might be exceptions, but I'm talking in general terms. And number 3, the third type of black woman that black men need to get with in this day and age is a black female who's not from the United States. Get you a sister from Africa, get one from Jamaica, you can get one from South America, you can get one from Belize. There's other black women all over the planet. And the attitude is 1,000 times better. When I was in Thailand, we ran into this beautiful black girl from Kenya. She's around 24, 25, have the best attitude I've ever seen on a black woman. Very pleasant, very friendly, just striking up a general conversation with us. So it's a whole different ball game around the world. And again, there are exceptions to the rule, but I'm just giving you some game that's going to help the odds in your favor. Because these shows where these sisters are throwing brothers under the bus, that shit is corny, and fellas, you got to start calling them out on that. And you got to start seeing it for what it is. And sisters, y'all got to stop going for the bullshit and get your minds right. And y'all can start off with getting my new book, The Elite Way. That's going to get you on the right path. Go to barnesandnoble.com to get my new book, The Elite Way. And you can also read an excerpt of the book at theeliteway.com. Anyway, y'all, that's been today's episode of the Mac Lessons Radio Show. I'm glad to have everybody tuning in. I will holler at you guys next week. Peace.